God's timing is perfect, even when it seems slow, even when it feels delayed, and even when you begin to wonder if your prayers are being heard. Every moment of waiting, every season of struggle, and every tear shed is part of God's divine orchestration. Nothing happens by chance in your life. Every event, every encounter, every challenge has been placed intentionally to prepare you for the breakthrough that is about to come. The delays you have endured are not signs of God's absence. They are proof of His meticulous planning. He is ensuring that when your moment arrives, everything is aligned for maximum impact. The timing of God is precise. What may seem like a coincidence, what may appear as random events, are all carefully coordinated pieces of a greater plan that only He can see. Every difficulty you faced has strengthened your faith, refined your character, and positioned you to receive the fullness of His blessing. It is often in the waiting that God's greatest work is accomplished. Seasons of silence and apparent stagnation are not periods of inaction. They are seasons of preparation. Just as a seed must remain in darkness before it can sprout, your breakthrough must be nurtured in the hidden work of God before it becomes visible to the world. The experiences you have endured have not been wasted. The lessons learned, the patience developed, and the endurance gained are all essential components of the success that is coming. Timing in God's kingdom is never early and never late. It is always perfect. The events set to unfold after 17 November are strategically placed to ensure that your life is forever changed. Trusting God's timing requires faith beyond what is visible. It demands that you rely not on your understanding, your plans, or the speed of circumstances, but on the certainty of His word. Even when life seems uncertain, even when obstacles appear insurmountable, God's timing is at work behind the scene. The breakthroughs, blessings, and divine interventions He has promised cannot manifest until every element is in place. Like a master architect, God is laying the foundation, aligning the structures, and preparing the environment so that when your moment comes, it arrives flawlessly. Nothing will be missing, nothing will be flawed, and nothing will be delayed beyond His perfect plan. Patience is not passive. It is an active engagement of faith and trust in God's wisdom. While you wait, you are being prepared to handle the responsibility, the wisdom, and the power that comes with your breakthrough. God is not only timing the event itself, but He is also timing your growth, your understanding, and your readiness to receive. The waiting period is a sacred space where your faith is strengthened, your vision is clarified, and your spiritual, mental, and emotional preparedness are honed. Those who grow impatient may stumble when the blessings arrive, but those who trust God's timing will receive their miracles fully, without confusion or compromise. The delay you may feel is not denial, it is refinement. It is God's way of ensuring that your heart, mind, and spirit are aligned with His purpose. What may seem frustrating is actually divine protection, keeping you from situations, people, or opportunities that are not aligned with His plan. Every closed door, every postponed opportunity, every unanswered prayer is a part of God's meticulous arrangement. He sees the bigger picture, and His timing ensures that nothing is wasted, nothing is delayed unnecessarily, and nothing arrives before you are ready to fully embrace it. When God speaks, it is certain. When He promises, it is unstoppable. After 17 November, you will witness the fulfillment of His timing in ways that exceed your imagination. The precision of His timing ensures that your breakthrough will be undeniable, unmistakable, and transformational. What has been hidden, delayed, or uncertain will suddenly become clear, powerful, and manifest in ways that glorify Him. Trust in this divine timing, for it is perfect, purposeful, and powerful. Your breakthrough is not late. It is arriving at exactly the right moment, orchestrated by a God who never makes mistakes, never acts hastily, and never fails to fulfill His promises. Remain steadfast in faith, patient in waiting, and vigilant in trust. The work that God has been doing behind the scenes will soon be revealed in a way that will leave you amazed, strengthened, and overflowing with gratitude. His timing is perfect, His promises are true, and His plans are unstoppable. After 17 November, the world will see the power of God's precision, and your life will testify to His perfect timing. Hold fast, believe fully, and prepare to receive, For the season of your divine breakthrough is imminent, and God's timing will leave no room for doubt or delay. Preparing your heart and mind is one of the most essential steps you can take as you stand on the threshold of a major breakthrough. God does not release His blessings into lives that are unprepared. He honors readiness, faithfulness, and alignment with His will. The moments leading up to your miracle are designed to refine your spiritual focus, strengthen your mental resilience, and ensure that your heart is fully aligned with God's purpose. Your thoughts, emotions, and intentions all matter. This is a time to release negativity, abandon doubt, and embrace a mindset of trust and expectancy. Preparing your heart and mind is not merely about wishing for blessings. It is about intentionally positioning yourself to recognize, receive, and steward the extraordinary favor that God is about to release. Your mind is a battlefield, and what you allow it to dwell on will either hinder or accelerate the manifestation of God's plan. Negative thoughts, fear, and anxiety are distractions that can obscure the miraculous work that is unfolding behind the scenes. Instead, focus on gratitude, hope, and faith. Rehearse in your mind the victory that is coming. Speak words of affirmation over your life and declare God's promises with confidence. Guard your mind against worry, comparison, and skepticism. The more disciplined you're thinking, the more aligned you will be with the divine flow of blessings. Preparation is not passive. It requires intentionality, vigilance, and spiritual focus. Your heart must also be prepared. God's blessings require purity of motive and clarity of purpose. When your heart is aligned with His will, you are able to receive without fear, hesitation, or distraction. Let go of grudges, resentment, and bitterness that may cloud your vision or block the flow of favor. Cultivate a heart of humility, gratitude, and obedience. Recognize that the blessings you are about to receive are not just for personal gain. They are a divine tool to fulfill your calling, impact others, and glorify God. A heart that is prepared to serve, give, and respond in faith will find that the magnitude of blessings that follow exceeds anything previously imagined. This season of preparation is also a time to strengthen your faith through action. Pray with expectation, fast with devotion, and engage in spiritual disciplines that heighten your awareness of God's presence. Feed your mind and spirit with His Word daily. Surround yourself with influences that encourage, uplift, and align with your purpose. Avoid negativity and toxic environments that can weaken your resolve or cloud your perception of God's promises. Preparation is holistic. It involves aligning your inner life, your spiritual practices, and your external actions to fully receive what God is ready to release. Mental clarity is essential during this period. God's messages, opportunities, and signs often come subtly. When your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, or distraction, you may miss the subtle ways in which God is working. Cultivate mindfulness, focus, and discernment. Be sensitive to divine guidance in your thoughts, decisions, and interactions. God's timing is perfect, but His guidance often requires a heart and mind that are alert, receptive, and ready to act. The prepared mind recognizes opportunity, interprets signs accurately, and responds with faith and wisdom. Your attitude toward waiting is equally critical. Preparation requires patience and perseverance. It requires understanding that God's plan unfolds in seasons, and His timing may not match your expectations. Yet, every moment of waiting is a moment of refinement. It strengthens resilience, deepens trust, and solidifies your character. Instead of complaining about delay, embrace the process as a sacred period of spiritual growth. Train your heart to remain joyful and expectant. Maintain hope, keep praising, and remain steadfast in prayer, knowing that every effort you make now positions you to receive the fullness of God's blessings. Finally, preparing your heart and mind involves cultivating expectancy. Expect God to move, anticipate miracles, and believe without doubt. Faith that anticipates favors is faith that activates them. Speak life, declare victory, and visualize your breakthrough. Expectation aligns your spirit with God's power and sets in motion the supernatural dynamics that bring His promises into reality. When your heart and mind are fully prepared, you will not only recognize the blessings God sends, but also steward them effectively, ensuring that the impact is lasting, transformative, and glorifying to Him. The preparation you invest today is the foundation of the miracle you will experience tomorrow. By intentionally aligning your heart, mind, and spirit with God's will, you create a fertile ground for favor, provision, and supernatural breakthrough. After 17 November, you will look back and see that every moment of intentional preparation, every act of faith, and every sacrifice was necessary to position you to receive the fullness of what God has promised. Your readiness is your key to unlocking the extraordinary, and God honors those who prepare diligently for His miraculous intervention. Expecting the unexpected is one of the most powerful ways to align yourself with God's supernatural plans. God rarely operates in ways that are predictable or limited by human expectation. His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are far above our understanding. The miracles, breakthroughs, and transformations He has prepared for you may not come in the form you imagine, and that is precisely the point. To fully receive what God is orchestrating after 17 November, you must cultivate a mindset that is open, flexible, and attuned to divine possibilities. Expect the unexpected and prepare to see the ordinary transformed into the extraordinary. Life often tempts us to cling to familiar patterns, predictable outcomes, and comfortable expectations, but God's interventions rarely follow these patterns. He works in ways that defy human reasoning, surprise the senses, and disrupt the ordinary. The blessings He sends may appear in relationships, finances, health, career opportunities, or spiritual growth in forms that you could never have anticipated. Expecting the unexpected is not merely a mental exercise, it is a spiritual posture. It is a willingness to receive God's surprises without hesitation, skepticism, or resistance. This expectation primes your heart and mind to recognize His work when it manifests in unconventional ways. Faith and expectancy go hand in hand. To expect the unexpected is to believe in the unseen. It is to trust that God's promises are true even when your circumstances suggest otherwise. You may have prayed for specific outcomes, yet God may answer in a manner that exceeds your imagination. The key is to remain receptive, flexible, and willing to embrace His version of the miracle. By expecting the unexpected, you are actively aligning yourself with God's creativity, His power, and His divine orchestration. You are acknowledging that His wisdom surpasses your own and that His timing and methods are perfect. Preparation for the unexpected also requires spiritual sensitivity. God often reveals His plans through subtle signs, nudges, and promptings. When you are alert and attuned to His voice, you will recognize opportunities and divine interventions that others may miss. This requires cultivating a spirit of discernment, listening beyond the surface, and being willing to act on God's guidance even when it seems unusual or unconventional. Expecting the unexpected means trusting God's methods, even when they do not align with your logic or prior experiences. Expecting the unexpected also involves releasing control. One of the greatest barriers to receiving God's blessings is the human tendency to micromanage outcome. When you let go of the need to predict, plan, or force results, you create space for God to operate freely. Divine interventions are often blocked by rigid expectations and resistance to change. By embracing the unexpected, you position yourself to receive blessings that are more abundant, more timely, and more impactful than anything you could have arranged on your own. Flexibility of heart and mind is essential. God's blessings may come through people, circumstances, or opportunities that challenge your understanding of how things should happen. You may be shocked by the source of your breakthrough, amazed by the timing, and overwhelmed by the magnitude. Those who cling too tightly to preconceived notions may miss the fullness of God's provision. Expecting the unexpected allows you to remain open, joyful, and ready to receive God's best without compromise. The unexpected often comes with a sense of wonder and amazement that reminds you of God's sovereignty. When God acts in ways beyond your imagination, it strengthens your faith, inspires awe, and deepens your relationship with Him. It teaches you to rely less on human understanding and more on divine wisdom. Expecting the unexpected cultivates resilience, gratitude, and spiritual maturity, equipping you to handle God's blessings with wisdom and humility. Ultimately, expecting the unexpected is a spiritual posture that aligns your heart with God's limitless power. It prepares you to witness miracles, embrace divine opportunities, and experience breakthroughs that surpass human reasoning. After 17 November, the blessings, provisions, and transformations that God has promised may come in ways that astonish you, challenge you, and elevate you. By expecting the unexpected, you remove barriers to His favor, activate your faith, and open your life to the fullness of His miraculous plans. Trust in His creativity, anticipate His surprises, and stand ready to embrace the extraordinary. God is always working, and those who expect the unexpected are always prepared to receive His highest and best. Releasing fear and doubt is one of the most crucial steps in preparing to receive God's miraculous intervention. Fear and doubt are not just emotions, they are spiritual obstacles that can blind you to God's promises and delay the manifestation of your breakthrough. When God is about to move in a way that is beyond human comprehension, fear often rises because it cannot grasp the magnitude of what is coming. Doubt whispers that it is impossible, that it will never happen, or that you are not worthy. Yet these are lies designed to hold you back. To fully receive the blessings, favor, and miracles God has promised, you must consciously choose faith over fear, belief over skepticism, and courage over hesitation. Fear thrives in the unknown, and the period before a breakthrough is often filled with uncertainty. You may not know how, when, or in what form your miracle will come. This is the exact moment when faith must rise higher than fear. Trust that God's timing is perfect, His ways are flawless, and His power is limitless. The unseen work of God is always in motion, even when your eyes cannot perceive it. Doubt and worry attempt to obscure this truth, but faith recognizes that God's promises are unshakable. Choosing to release fear is not passive resignation, it is active, conscious trust in God's wisdom, timing, and provision. Every time you choose faith over fear, you are aligning yourself with the supernatural flow of God's favor. Fear limits your capacity to see possibilities, clouds your judgment, and keeps you focused on limitations rather than opportunities. Doubt causes you to question God's goodness and to measure your potential by human standard. But when you replace fear and doubt with trust, you open your heart to miracles that defy logic. You begin to perceive doors opening, resources appearing, and interventions happening in ways that confirm God's sovereignty. Releasing fear and doubt is a spiritual key that unlocks divine provision and prepares you for blessings that cannot be earned, only received in faith. Faith requires action. Releasing fear and doubt is not simply a matter of telling yourself to believe. It involves a deliberate choice to focus on God's promises, to meditate on His word, and to speak declarations of faith over your life. Surround yourself with reminders of His faithfulness, scriptures, testimonies, prayers, and affirmations that reinforce His power. Every time fear or doubt tries to creep in, counter it with the truth of God's promises. Remind yourself that He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion, and that His favor cannot be withheld when you trust in His timing and wisdom. Releasing fear also requires surrender. Often, fear persists because we are attempting to control outcomes or manage circumstances on our own. God's blessings, however, operate on a higher plane than human effort alone. Surrendering means acknowledging that you are not in charge, that you cannot force the timing, and that you cannot predict the method of God's intervention. It is a conscious act of yielding your worries, anxieties, and insecurities into His capable hands. The more fully you surrender, the lighter your burden becomes, and the more room there is for God's supernatural work to manifest in your life. Doubt often arises from past disappointments or unfulfilled expectations. It whispers that previous prayers went unanswered, that past failures define your future, or that miracles are for others but not for you. Yet God's plan is not limited by the past. His promises are forward-looking, designed to bring restoration, favor, and abundance. Each act of faith, each step taken in trust, diminishes doubt and strengthens your connection to the divine. Releasing doubt allows you to step into the future with confidence, knowing that God's hand is guiding every situation, orchestrating every detail, and positioning you for unprecedented breakthroughs. Finally, releasing fear and doubt transforms your spiritual atmosphere. When your heart and mind are free from anxiety, worry, and skepticism, you create an environment where God's power can move unhindered. Your faith becomes a magnet for blessings, your words become declarations of life, and your perspective becomes aligned with divine truth. God honors bold faith that trusts Him despite circumstances. By letting go of fear and doubt, you step into a posture of expectancy, ready to receive His promises with joy, confidence, and unwavering trust. As 17 November approaches, understand that fear and doubt are natural, but they are not allowed to control your destiny. Choose to trust God completely. Focus on His promises, release control, and replace uncertainty with confident faith. The moment you surrender these burdens, God will move in ways that exceed every expectation, overturn every obstacle, and fill your life with blessings that cannot be ignored. Your faith, not your fear, will determine the magnitude of the breakthrough you experience, and your willingness to release doubt will ensure that God's favor flows freely into every area of your life. Positioning yourself for blessings is an essential principle in receiving the fullness of God's favor. God's miracles, breakthroughs, and provisions are often prepared in advance, but they require readiness and intentional action on your part to fully manifest. Blessings do not always fall into your lap by chance. They flow to those who are prepared to recognize, receive, and steward them wisely. Preparation involves spiritual, mental, and practical positioning, aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your environment in a way that makes you a fitting vessel for God's favor. It means being proactive in faith, diligent in effort, and obedient in the areas God has already asked you to steward, even before the major breakthrough arrives. Spiritual positioning is about aligning your life with God's will. It is recognizing that blessings are not just rewards. They are instruments for fulfilling your divine purpose. When God is about to release something extraordinary, He looks for hearts that are pure, obedient, and faithful. This is a time to commit fully to prayer, worship, and obedience. Cultivate an attitude of humility and gratitude, and guard your spirit against negativity, jealousy, and resentment. Positioning yourself spiritually ensures that when God opens doors, you will not stumble, and you will be ready to step into favor without hesitation or distraction. Mental readiness is equally important. The mind must be disciplined to recognize opportunities and respond wisely. Your thoughts shape your perceptions and determine your decisions. If your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, or distraction, you may miss the very blessings that God has prepared for you. Cultivate focus, clarity, and discernment. Train yourself to identify possibilities, act decisively, and respond with faith rather than hesitation. Mental preparedness allows you to see the opportunities hidden within challenges, the guidance embedded in uncertainty, and the favor present in moments others might overlook. Practical positioning is also critical. This involves taking tangible steps in alignment with God's purpose. It might mean improving skills, networking with the right people, maintaining integrity in your work, or stepping into responsibilities that prepare you for the next level. Blessings often manifest through actions that demonstrate readiness and reliability. By positioning yourself practically, you show that you are trustworthy with the resources, responsibilities, and influence God is about to release. Every small effort, every faithful act, and every disciplined choice builds the foundation for the major breakthrough that is coming. Faithful stewardship is another key aspect of positioning. God rewards faithfulness in the small with greatness in the large. Whatever responsibilities, resources, or opportunities you currently have, manage them with excellence and gratitude. Demonstrate reliability, integrity, and diligence in everything under your care. The way you handle the small things signals to God that you are ready for the greater blessings that are on the horizon. Your preparedness is evidence to the spiritual realm that you can receive without waste, squander, or fear. Expecting opportunity is also part of positioning. Those who are ready to receive blessings anticipate God's movement. Keep your heart and mind open to sudden insights, unexpected offers, and divine encounters. Remain alert to signs and nudges from God, and be willing to act even when the path seems uncertain. The readiness to respond quickly to God's direction ensures that His favor is not delayed or wasted. Positioning yourself in expectancy creates a fertile environment for blessings to flow seamlessly into your life. Finally, positioning yourself for blessings requires patience and persistence. God often prepares the way in seasons of quiet before releasing abundance. Do not be discouraged by delays or apparent inactivity. Continue to align your heart, mind, and actions, knowing that every effort and every act of faith contributes to the breakthrough. Timing in God's kingdom is perfect, and your persistent preparation amplifies the impact of the favor that is coming. When you position yourself spiritually, mentally, and practically, you create an environment where God's blessings can manifest fully. After 17 November, the favor, opportunities, and miracles that God has orchestrated will flow into your life in a powerful and undeniable way. Positioning is about readiness, responsiveness, and alignment with divine purpose. It ensures that when God releases the extraordinary, you are not only able to receive it, but also to steward it wisely, multiply it, and use it to fulfill your calling. Prepare, align, and position yourself now, because the blessings on the horizon are far greater than anything you have yet imagined. Walking in faith and gratitude is the final, yet most crucial, key to fully receiving God's promises and blessings. Faith is more than just belief. It is action, commitment, and trust in the unseen work of God. It is choosing to step forward even when the path is unclear, to hope when circumstances seem impossible, and to believe that God's timing, His methods, and His plans are perfect. Faith activates divine favor, opens doors that seem closed, and aligns your life with the miraculous. Walking in faith means trusting God's promises even before you see the results, knowing that He who promised is faithful and will bring every word to completion. Gratitude is the heart posture that magnifies faith. It is the recognition that every good thing in your life, whether large or small, comes from God's hand. Gratitude transforms your perspective, shifting your focus from lack to abundance, from fear to trust, and from doubt to assurance. When you approach life with a grateful heart, you attract God's favor because gratitude is a declaration of trust in His providence. It is a spiritual magnet that draws blessings toward you. By expressing thankfulness, you acknowledge that God is already at work, preparing the way for the breakthroughs, miracles, and favor that are yet to manifest. Walking in faith requires consistency and courage. It is not enough to believe intermittently or in easy circumstances. True faith is steadfast, unwavering, and persistent. It persists through waiting, perseveres through challenges, and remains confident in the face of opposition. Faith requires that you act as though the promise has already been fulfilled, even when it has not yet materialized in the physical realm. By walking daily in faith, you maintain alignment with God's power, ensuring that you are positioned to receive and respond to the blessings that He is sending. Gratitude reinforces faith and strengthens your spiritual resilience. Every moment of thankfulness, whether for what is seen or unseen, solidifies your trust in God's plan. Gratitude shifts your mindset from anxiety and doubt to expectation and confidence. It allows you to celebrate small victories, recognize divine interventions, and acknowledge God's hand in every aspect of your life. This attitude of constant gratitude demonstrates to God that you are not only ready to receive blessings, but that you will also steward them wisely. It creates a spiritual atmosphere where miracles, favor, and provision can flow unhindered. Faith and gratitude together create a dynamic synergy. Faith activates God's promises, gratitude sustains and magnifies them. Walking in faith ensures that you do not rely on human understanding or timing, while gratitude keeps your heart anchored in humility and acknowledgement of God's sovereignty. When combined, they position you to receive more than you have imagined. They allow you to recognize blessings when they arrive, rejoice in them when they manifest, and use them for their intended purpose. These qualities prepare you not just for a momentary breakthrough, but for long-term, sustainable favor that transforms your life. In practical terms, walking in faith and gratitude involves daily disciplines. Begin each day with prayer and declarations of trust in God's promises. Reflect on past instances of His faithfulness and give thanks for them. Act with confidence, even in uncertain situations, knowing that God is guiding every step. Speak words of life over your circumstances and over your future. Avoid complaining, worrying, or doubting, because these disrupt the flow of faith and can diminish the impact of God's blessings. Replace fear with trust, scarcity with expectancy, and doubt with unwavering belief. Finally, walking in faith and gratitude requires a heart fully surrendered to God. It is not just about receiving, it is about aligning your desires with His purpose, trusting His timing, and embracing His plan even when it defies your understanding. The moment you combine persistent faith with continual gratitude, you position yourself to witness God's promises unfold in powerful, life-altering ways. After 17 November, you will see the results of this alignment in ways that surpass expectation, opening doors to opportunities, blessings, and favor that are unmistakably divine. Walking in faith and gratitude is not passive. It is active, intentional, and transformational. It ensures that when God moves, you are ready, receptive, and fully prepared to embrace the miraculous.